ULEZ. ULEZ, of course, in London was brought in by Sadiq Khan, but I'm selling this car not to Sadiq Khan, but to Sadiq Ali.
Nice to meet you, Chaz.
So everybody, this is Meet Sadiq Ali, this is Sadiq Ali, and you are the new purchaser, the owner, the keeper of the BCG BMW.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Well, this is it. The time has come to say goodbye to the beloved BCG BMW E30, this 1989 325i SE in black two-door that I've had since March of 2022, which we bought at auction, actually, at the NEC. That's actually where we got it. And oh my God, what a ride it's been. I mean, this has just been an absolutely wonderful, wonderful car. But it's now come time basically to pass it on to its next keeper, to continue the story with somebody else. Yeah, and definitely the story is to be continued on this car, that's for sure. Now, when I got this car, it was partly, to be honest, it was something that I needed. A lot of people said to me, like, what car do you drive? And I didn't really actually have a car, a daily driver as such at the time. And then people said, what car does the channel have? You need something to showcase on the channel. So it was kind of like a channel mascot, but also it was a kind of revisiting of wonderful memories of the past. Because I used to own a very, very similar car, also 325i SE, an 88 model back in the 90s. And had to sell it too early, always regretted selling it. And then this thing just, you know, it was I used to call it my time capsule machine, my elixir of youth, because every time I got into it, I was back in the 90s or the 80s again, you know. By the way, I only ever played 80s music in this car, you know. And the point was, to have a car that I could tell a story with, that I could relate to, that would be a great car for the channel. And to be honest, it's like, you know, whereas in the 90s, this car, there was a lot of them around and it didn't always get the best reaction. But now this was like the perfect car, because when you drive this around, the reaction that you get, you know, people wave, they smile, they want to talk to you, they want to reminisce. Their uncle had one, their dad had one, they used to have one, something. Everybody has a story to tell with an E30. So it takes on a completely different persona, and it's a very, very powerful thing. So in that sense, it proved the perfect car as a showcase car, but it also proved the perfect car to kind of prove if it was possible to daily drive a classic. And this E30 has probably been used more and harder than any other E30 in this modern era, because up until the ULEZ expansion happened at the end of 2023, I was pretty much using it as a daily car. I would take it out 4, 5, 6 times whenever I needed, actually, basically a week, you know. I'd take it out and I'd use it, I'd drive around because I wanted it to be seen and I wanted to enjoy driving it. And the thing about these 80s cars is that there isn't a vast leap between the bare essence of driving one of these to driving a modern car. You know, the braking, the steering, the handling, it's all there. Like, if you go a little bit older than this, the braking is not quite as good, the handling is a bit wallowy, it's all over. You know, there are compromises that you would have to make on 60s and 70s cars, but 80s cars, they are there. They're pretty much there. I mean, all we've done since the 80s is just add lots of electronics to them. That's all that's happened. But otherwise, in terms of the drive, they're all there. And you get a car like this where everything worked, even the trip computer on this thing worked. It worked, you know. Then it was perfect, and it was a very good car to drive. So I set out to prove that you could daily drive the car. Could you? Well, you know, it's an old car. It's 35 years old. It's got issues, you know, and one of the things I nearly had the wheel come off at one time. All of this is documented on my channel, of course, on BrownCarGuy.com, and of course on the YouTube channel. But I had issues. The wheel hub nearly came off. I had to replace the wheel hub. Odometer stopped working before. 2 years ago, it stopped working again. That had to be fixed. And I most recently had the brake lines done, the fuel lines done, and I had the steering rack replaced. So, you know, you do spend quite a bit of money on a car like this, you know. I think, but over the 3 years, probably not more than 4 or 5 grand on top of the 10K that it was to get this thing. So you're looking at 15K over 3 years. You're talking about 5K a year. Then actually, if you think about, you buy a brand new car and you pay a monthly lease of £500 a month, you know, that's £6,000 a year. You're still working out better with this, and you're driving something much cooler. So it sounds great, but unfortunately, I don't think I have proven that you can drive a daily driver classic, because the trouble with these cars, and also the climate that we're in, where it's just like now, it's always goddamn raining, is that rust is a killer. Rust is a killer, and the rust is the problem. Now, this car, You know, cars of this era, you think like the Mercedes 123, that E-Class, previous E-Class saloon, and this E30, I mean, they were built to last. They were over-engineered. Everything they did with this car is that they overdid it. They built this car to last forever. It was over-engineered, and they thought about everything from the driving experience to the controls facing the driver, to the rigidity, to solidity, to the handling, to the build, except when they got to this bit just in front of the windscreen. I don't know what the hell happened there. They basically decided to create, just ahead of the wipers, they created these two vents, and then they just created a gully for water to collect. I don't know what they were thinking, but that's the problem. And apparently this is now becoming a problem on a lot of these E30s of this era, is that they're having that rust problem. Now, the trouble is that, okay, it's rust, you know, you cut it out, you fabricate, you re-weld, you fix, fine. So that's okay, it's doable. But the problem in this particular case, for where the rust is right between the engine and the interior. So the engine has to come out and the interior has to come out. So this is the big problem. So I've been umming and ahhing for, like, you know, quite a while now, a few months now, about what to do. But the costs that were coming, estimates I was getting out, were varying wildly. And it's not, and I don't work on cars. So it's not, so if there's somebody that can do part of the work themselves, you could save it, because a huge amount of the cost is just labor costs. So that's the problem. So, and for me, that's just, I can't do it. A, I've got nowhere to do it, and B, I don't actually have the skills to do it. I've never worked on cars. I know everything about them, but I don't work on them. And I think that's also a fundamental problem when it comes to classic cars. If you're going to own and buy and run a classic car, and I think you do need to be a bit hands-on, which unfortunately people like me, I'm not. I just like driving them, polishing them, looking after them, that's about it. But I don't actually work on them. And I think that is an issue. Like, if you have classic cars, you should be able to work on them. I think that's part of it. So it's more than I can manage, so that's why it's on sale. A lot of people like, it was priced at $4,995, which is what it's sold for. People are like, why is it so low? Because, you know, I want it to be fair. I mean, fix this car. Like I said, if you fix this up, this car, you know, I already told you what I got it for, and it's all documented. But I think that today, with prices being where they are, I think this is a 15K car. In the spec, it's original, it's unmolested, it's unmodified. It's a 15K car, but with the problem fixed. So I wanted to be fair to the next owner, because it wasn't just a case of selling it and getting rid of it. It was a case of finding the right person to take this car forward to the next part of its story. So I advertised it on Monday night this week. By Tuesday I had 4 people come to see it. To be honest, there was quite a lot of interest, as you can imagine, but 4 people like really hounded me and they came to see it. And what that meant was that, and nobody haggled on the price, and what that meant was that it put me in a, well, I was going to say it put me in a fortunate position to be able to choose who gets to get the car, but actually put me in a very difficult position, because they were all fantastic, knowledgeable, very passionate, very enthusiastic people, and all of them had a story, and all of them had a connection to the E30, and all of them, for each of them, it would have made sense. But there was one guy, I think, that, you know, he was particularly showing a bit of a sentiment about it. So anyway, we'll meet him in a bit. As for myself, well, yeah, I took it out for one last long drive on Monday, and then that was it, because I knew that was our story coming to an end. But, you know, from, you know, taking it to car shows, just driving around London, going on occasional blasts when I found some nice country roads, and, you know, driving it up Shelsley Walsh, I can never pronounce that, Shelsley Walsh hill climb, where it just got quicker and quicker and quicker, and just, you know, going to car launches and modern car events and stuff like that, and driving the latest machinery, and then getting out, and then getting into this, and just feeling that connection and that rawness, that it's just, you know, it was just so wonderful every time. You know, it was such a brilliant way to connect to an old school car that brought back all of those reasons that I fell in love with driving cars. You know, that's what this car constitutes. And it's a wrench. It really is a wrench to let it go, but it has to go to a new home, and the story has to continue. But anyway, it will continue. Hopefully maybe we'll get to see it again. Maybe there'll be some updates, so stay tuned, you never know. But for now, BCG BMW E30, farewell. It's been great one, buddy. It's been really great. Thank you. Thanks for everything. Hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, tell the world. So now it's time to meet the new owner of the beloved BCG BMW E30. And there's a little bit of irony here, because part of the reason that I've been compelled to sell the car is obviously because I couldn't justify the expense of getting it fixed when I can't use it as much as I was wanting to use it because of ULEZ. ULEZ, of course, in London was brought in by Sadiq Khan, but I'm selling this car not to Sadiq Khan, but to Sadiq Ali.
Nice to meet you, Chaz.
So everybody, this is Meet Sadiq Ali. This is Sadiq Ali, and you are the new purchaser, the owner, the keeper of the BCG BMW. Now you were actually the first person that actually come down to view it on the on the Tuesday. Monday night I put the advert up. Tuesday you were here. What drew you to the car?
Well, the fact that it's an E30, I think that says enough. It's a 325 coupe. It is an iconic car. Growing up, always used to see them as a kid. All like the older guys, around locally always used to have them. You go to a car show, you always see them as well. And this one exactly, I think I woke up before work, 5-6, scrolling through Facebook. First thing, open Facebook. This is the first thing I saw. I think I rolled over, poked my missus, and I said, "We need this now." And so I think I messaged you straight away, 5-6 in the morning. Did apologise for the early message. Went to work. Normally I finish around 4 o'clock, but I pulled some strings and managed to finish around, I think, 11 o'clock, and I got here 12 o'clock because I knew I just had to have it because of it's an E30, like I said, and it's owned by yourself. I think you've documented it very well, very transparent with everything, and I think even when I came to see the car itself, everything that you were telling me, showing me, it's just I wanted it more and more.
And tell us a little bit about your own history, because you turned up in a BMW, you turned up in an E46. You haven't had an E30 before, though?
No, I've never owned an E30 myself, so this is going to be my first one. I've been in and around them. I've got a few mates that own them. I've worked on a few myself as well. And yeah, I've just love BMWs. I think I'm a bit of a BMW fanatic, and just trying to add a few more iconic cars to my collection as well.
You do a lot of the work yourself, because one of the things that actually drew me to Sadiq was that, and actually this is where it made so much sense to me, because the work that needs to be done to the car, and like Sadiq said, we were very transparent about it, and I told him everything that needs to be done, but it will involve removing the interior and removing the engine. And one of the things that struck me is that this is something that actually you can do yourself.
Yeah, so it is. The welding itself, I can weld, but I will probably get a professional in to get the bulkhead sorted out. But in regards to removing the engine, box, the dash, and anything that needs to be removed in order to do the job, I can do myself. I'm currently working on, I've got an E36 Touring, currently sitting in my drive without an engine, without a gearbox, which I'm currently working on as well. So it'll be like a similar style project as well with this.
And the other great thing about, I suppose, something that appealed to me a little bit is that when you said that, look, I'm going to get this car sorted, I'll be bringing it to shows, and you will see it again.
Oh, 100%. That's what I say to everyone. Cars are meant to be driven, regardless of age, condition. Like, I can appreciate an E30, even if it was rusted, I would still appreciate it because it's an E30. Concourse level, I would still appreciate it because it's an E30. And like I said, they're meant to be driven. I've got a few cars and I can't drive them all myself. And like I said, I like to build relationships. I like to meet people when I go to car shows and meet people with other cars. So that's what I said is, once it's that, it's I need another driver. I'd like to take more than one car sometimes to a place or show, or if there's only a time that you want to drive it again, it's there.
So there you go, guys. The story is not quite ended. I may be reacquainted with my beloved BMW in future, so stay tuned for that. Also, tell everybody where they can find you, because you got an Instagram.
Yes, so I do a bit of Instagram, I do a bit of posting. I'm going to try and post a bit more, maybe make a few more videos this year. But you can find me on Cruise & Co. And yeah, that's spelled CRUZ and Co.
All that remains now is for me to hand over the key and congratulate you on being the new owner, the new keeper of my BMW. Look after her.
No worries, thank you very much, and I'll do you justice, don't worry.
Hi guys, I've been writing. This is my first book, a novel, an all-out action thriller, and this one is a collection of 13 stories I've written over the course of 2 decades. The ULEZ Files and The Quantum Races by BCGuy are out now on Amazon.com.